Hello in TV land. I'm Cam Bozora.
My name is Rowan Wood.
And I'm Sebastian Rick. And this is Across the Stars, where if it's Star Wars,
we cover it. And today we're going to be playing.
Nice one.
We're going to be playing a little bit of a game with our guest, who we will expand upon in a second, Cam Bozora. We will be playing a Star Wars themed game of Would You Rather, meaning we have all written down some Star Wars themed Would You Rather questions. We will pose it to the others, and we're just basically going to discuss. We might not get through all of our questions today, but hey, it's a podcast. We can just do more if we want to. Cam, we usually start off our segments with guests by asking them, how did you first get into Star Wars? What's your Star Wars origin story?
Okay, so I feel like I was introduced to Star Wars when I was, I want to say 5, 6 years old. And so that was around the time, so like 2007, Revenge of the Sith had probably just came out. Or like, came out the year before. 2005. So like a couple years after, so it was probably on DVD or it was on Fox. No, FX. Because FX used to have the rights to play Star Wars movies. And there would be times on weekends where they would just play all 6. And so I just caught it on TV. And anything nerd-related with a universe, I grasped. Like, that was my thing. Like, Ben 10, Marvel, and then Star Wars. And then I started playing the Lego Star Wars games on my PS2 because I was such a cool kid. Quick story. My cousin stepped on some glass. He was the same age as me. And he was like, and he called me. And he was like, Cam, I just stepped on some glass. And I go, hey, can I call you back? I just unlocked my game. Bye. I never called him back, but that's how important Star Wars was for me. But yeah, I loved it as a kid. I don't think I'm as much as a fanatic as Sebastian, but like I definitely have that nerdiness in me, especially when I was a kid.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but some of my questions get kind of deep into some lore. So we will see how this shapes out. The way that we are going to do this is I will pose one of my questions, and then Cam, who in the video version of this is right next to me, will propose one of his versions. We will discuss, and then Sebastian will do one of his questions, and so on. And we'll see how many we get through. We are the controllers of this podcast, so we can do whatever the hell we want. My
questions are bad, so after a couple, I might have to start passing once I run out of good ones.
I'm sure they're fine, Sebastian. All right, so my first one is starting real simple. My first one is: would you rather get married to Salicious Crumb or Garindan? I don't know if I'm pronouncing either of those correctly, but yeah. So Garindan, for those of you who don't know, he is the Imperial spy in A New Hope. He has like a trunk like an elephant, and he says nothing in the movies. He's just an Imperial spy who reports that Luke and the droids are at Mos Eisley. And Salicious Crumb is that little laughing bitch who sits at the foot at the
next to Jabba.
Next to Jabba. I don't know what to call his because Jabba doesn't have a throne, so I don't know what to call where he sits at his right hand or something. Anyway, so yeah, would you rather get married to Garindan or Salicious Crumb? Garindan, who doesn't speak and is sounds totally boring, or Salicious Crumb, who has the most annoying ass laugh?
I would murder Salicious Crumb 2 months into, or not 2 months. I meant to say 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 months is a long. 2 months is a long time, Sebastian.
I know. I meant to say hours.
Okay.
So they both have an O in them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go with Garindan on this one.
Okay, cool. What about you, Cam?
I'm going with Garindan because I bet he has like a tragic past and just no one cares enough to talk to him about it, and I will heal him.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I would also go with Garindan just not to go with Salicious Crumb.
Yep, no, that's
Jesus Christ.
Few people I would pick before.
All right, Cam, you're up.
All right, would you rather be trapped on an island with Darth Vader or Jar Jar Binks?
Mr. Trump!
No. Okay, no, but in all seriousness, if you were stuck on an island with Darth Vader, he would be a lot more helpful in finding a way out, I feel. Although Jar Jar can swim. I don't know.
That's true, but like, can you swim?
I can swim. I can't swim as well as he can.
Exactly.
So I might have to go with Vader just because he can actually get us a way off, I feel.
I would go with Jar Jar because I can eat him. Should the need arise, I can't eat Darth Vader. He would taste disgusting. I can eat Jar Jar. He would taste like chicken. I virtually guarantee it. But Sebastian, I hear you in that Vader would be more helpful. But what can he do if you're stuck in the middle of an like on an island in like if it's a small island? He probably can't really do much. Like if there's no materials that you can use, I feel like Vader would not be as helpful there, and Jar Jar would help me survive at least a little bit longer.
Yeah, but people will be looking for Vader, I guess, is sort of my thought process.
That's true. No one would look for Jar Jar because he's a banish.
No one would go looking for Jar Jar. Yeah. Cam?
I would pick Darth Vader. Only because I can just imagine. I'm walking on the island. I just hear him go, "Argh!" Like he's like, I'm like, what's wrong, Vader? He goes, sand. I hate sand. I just want to hear him just complain like a teenager and just go. And then like by the end of the night, I'm just like banging my head against a coconut tree. He's like, Padme, wisdom. I'm like, oh my god, this is therapy hour.
Cam's gonna undo all of Vader's character development. Turn him back into episode 2 Anakin. Alright. Here's mine. My first one, I suppose, is would you rather live like in the farthest, like, obscure area of Tatooine or in the deepest, lowest floor of Coruscant? Because, like, the deeper you go in Coruscant, the, like, more shady and all that.
Tatooine. Because Coruscant, like, I'm sure so I feel like for Coruscant, you know, there's the higher levels, obviously, where all the rich and semi-wealthy people live. There's a few, so in between the top level and the bottom level, there's all the levels where, like, the the middle class live. There's probably a lot of crime there, just because it's probably not as enforced as well. But I feel like the bottom, everyone is so desperate because that's their last possible place, then they wouldn't be attacking each other or killing each other. Like, there wouldn't be a lot of crime down there, purely because, like, they're so desperate that they would stay away from other people, because I can't imagine that there would be that many people down there.
I feel like desperation is what would drive them to commit more crimes.
That's true, but like, what would they do? Rob the other poor people? Like, there's not really much that they could gain from there. So I'm gonna say Tatooine, purely because you can make a living on Tatooine. Like Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, they had a moisture farm. They were fine.
Example.
Yeah.
Example, bro.
Well, but I mean, like, what the hell else are you gonna do on Tatooine?
They were dead 15 minutes in, bro.
But they were old. They had survived like that for so many years, and they seemed happy. They had a big ass property.
All right, Cam.
Sorry. Tatooine, for the simple reason of I don't want to deal with nobody. Like, I just want to be by myself, have a little droid, little collection going on, you know, fix them up, do a little fixer-uppers, just something simple, because I'm already in a galaxy where there's wars.
Yeah, Star Wars.
I would have to go with Tatooine as well, but because I feel like it would be easier to leave Tatooine than the lowest level of Coruscant. I feel like if you're on the lowest level, you're gonna have to do a bunch of like shady, like definitely illegal things in order to work your way up. Whereas on Tatooine, I guess, I don't know. I feel like it'd be easier to find a way off.
No doubt.
All right.
Nice.
Rowan, your next question.
All right. So I feel like you guys are going to be more opinionated about this one than I am. But
Oh, God.
you have, so you could watch, so you have one movie to watch over and over again for the rest of eternity. Would you rather watch The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker. No need to even
You were so quick with that, Sebastian.
The second you said The Last Jedi, I was like, I don't care which, if it's a Star Wars movie. I'm thinking, it could be a Christmas special. I'll watch a Christmas special. God damn it. Cam?
So, I'm going to say this now, and I know I'm going to be killed for saying this. I didn't mind the new movies. I really didn't.
I didn't mind them either. I mean, I would choose The Last Jedi out of these. Anyway, continue.
I've only seen each movie once.
Yeah.
I would honestly, I'm gonna say Rise of Skywalker because I genuinely relate to that, to Rey being like, "Yo, I'm a Palpatine. This kind of sucks." And so
relate to that.
I relate to the identity crisis of Rey.
Cam's a Palpatine too.
And plus, I feel like I could be able to laugh at it more. Just like on the like when I first saw it in theaters, I saw it with my friend, and he had already seen it, and he was like, "Dude, like, just get ready for this." And then, spoiler alert: if you haven't seen it, where have you been? When Chewbacca supposedly dies, like because Rey just electrocuted the ship, I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, this isn't no like Peter Parker of like Infinity War. Mr. Stark, I don't feel like, oh no. I was like, this is stupid. What the hell is this? But like now knowing the entire plot, I can just be like, I don't know, I can find more enjoyment. Like Last Jedi, it was just like little cool moments.
Interesting.
Alright.
Yeah, well, I would go with Last Jedi because I vastly prefer it to Rise of Skywalker. This is the thing that Sebastian and I disagree on the most. But like, there's nothing bad about that, you know.
We're looking forward very much to our Last Jedi episode.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be wild. All right, so Cam, you got a new one.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna do a movie-based one where I was like, "Would you rather watch this?" But you just stole that. All right,
I mean, you stole one of mine.
Different ones.
I mean, true, but okay. Would you rather only be able
two
to
different movies?
Would you rather? No, it doesn't. Would you rather only be able to watch the prequels or the new franchise? Prequels. Nostalgia.
Whoa. We all agree on the one thing. Yeah, I mean,
damn, I took you for more of a sequel guy, Rowan.
No, just because I like them doesn't mean I prefer them. I mean, they're fine movies.
I know.
But
I assume that you liked them. I know that you like both and all that, but
yeah.
I assume that you like them more than the prequels.
Well, the prequels include Revenge of the Sith. So.
Oh yeah, no, you can't do without it.
Yeah, no,
you really can't.
No, yeah. And I mean, like, I could listen to the when Palpatine brings Anakin into like the Mon Calamari opera. Like, I could listen to that song like all goddamn day. Anyway, Sebastian, your turn.
Okay, guess what? I guess who else had another like movie one plan, sort of. This one's a bit Different.
Oh,
Would you rather only be able to watch the original versions of the original trilogy or the special editions?
I've never seen like the originals because I was only exposed to the special editions. So I would go with the originals purely because I'm interested with, and like the special editions add nothing, just CGI. So I would be totally fine with the originals.
I've seen both.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing. I watched the original ones recently, and for some reason, because also, even though it's like some minor things, it takes me out of the movie. I'm just like when I first saw, because I just saw it for the first time recently, so I was completely like dumbfounded by some of the things that were like changed, and I was like, so I'm gonna go with the special editions, just because also that's what I was like, what I grew up on, and like seeing the original really takes me out of the movie.
For me, it's really tough because I like some of the changes in the special edition. Like at the end of Return of the Jedi, they have a scene where they include more planets in the celebration, and the Emperor in Episode 5 is in the original one. If you've ever seen it, don't bother. It's atrocious, and I don't think I ever want to see that thing again.
I've seen that clip. Yeah.
And then there are like a couple of like small special effects changes that I think really do add to the movie. But then, like Rowan pointed out, there's all that unnecessary CGI.
But also, Jar Jar's a human. Like, Jar Jar's literally a human being.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Not Jar Jar. Jabba.
Yeah, in A New Hope. Yeah, because the Jabba scene was only in the special edition, I think, right? Because they shot it, but then they didn't include it in the theatrical cut.
Yeah. No, I don't think that ever made it. I don't think the human Jabba ever made it to theaters, does it?
I don't know. I mean, that's how they shot it. That might be how they were going to release it, but then George Lucas was like, "This would look better with CGI," and then he waited 20 years.
I think he changed. I think they cut the scene like entirely originally, but I'm not sure.
Right.
I might have to go with the special editions, honestly. Yeah. Like, if you ask me which one would I rather watch on like any given night, I'd probably tell you the originals, just because those are the ones I've seen less. But if I could only watch one for like the rest of everything, it would probably be special edition. As much as I hate to admit that.
All right. So my next one is a very interesting one. Would you rather extract something from a Rancor's rectum, or just allow yourself to be eaten by it?
What the frick?
Easy.
I'm taking something out of its rectum. I'm probably gonna die along the way, but at least I got a chance.
I say the first one, just so I could tell the story. Just so I could live
you make it out of there.
I'll make it. Trust me.
Yeah, you're gonna kill a Rancor.
Bare hands, bro. Bare hands.
Fair.
Actually, human hands, not a bear. But yeah, easy. Because also, I'm gonna be. If I die, I'm a legend. If you get eaten by a Rancor, okay, cool. But you're trying to extract something out of him.
Yeah.
That's a legend move.
Alright, that's all you really need to say. Well,
that was
your answer, so we can move on to the next
one. I would much rather try to extract whatever it is and try to make it out alive. I just want to say that part of the question, extracting something from its rectum, was inspired by Robert Downey Jr.'s latest film, Doolittle, in which the climax involves Dr. Doolittle pulling treasure from a dragon's ass. This is a children's movie, folks. Co-written by Seth Rogen, that involved Robert Downey Jr. putting on an awful accent and pulling stuff out of a dragon's butt. Anyway, Cam, continue.
Okay, would you... Alright. Would you rather be on a mission with a Wookiee or a droid?
What kind of droid?
Yeah, it really does depend on the droid.
That is true. I'm talking like C-3PO level of just like he can help communicate, but like
he's useless
the
in
most
anything else.
defenseless human being, or just being.
Human being.
Yeah, don't make them think they're any more human, Cam. Don't give them a god complex.
I'm sorry.
I feel like it would have to depend on the mission. Like, if I'm going on a diplomatic mission, I don't see what a Wookiee's going to do me much good. But if I'm being dropped into the middle of Kashyyyk to liberate, like, Wookiee slaves from the Empire, I'm not sure what C-3PO is going to get me.
The Wookiee can stand by your side and go. Aah! That would massively help the negotiations. Come on.
Actually, yeah, you're right. You know, you have a Wookiee there to like threaten the shit out of everybody. Yeah, I'm going to go with Wookiee.
I would go. Again, it totally depends. Oh my god. I would probably go with Protocol Droid, purely because, you know, even if it is like some sort of like action mission type thing, I could use it as a shield if I needed to. I mean, I mean, like a Wookiee would be great, but like, worst comes to worst, I can like it would take a lot of shots to blast through like a fully plated Protocol Droid. So I feel like I could use that to escape. But that's taking the coward's way out. I'm probably gonna go with the Wookiee.
I'm gonna choose a Wookiee too. Wookiee, because I would be the communicator. I have the gift to gab, not the gift to jab. Okay, that's what my buddy is for. Yes, I do, Sebastian.
All right, next question. Would you rather fight in the Rebel Army or the Clone Army? Naturally, you'd be a clone in the Clone Army. But
Rebels, because the clones are kind of treated like shit sometimes. And I don't want to be treated like shit. I mean, they do get, like, amazing story arcs in the Clone Wars, but they had to do some bad, like, some tough stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound like I'm trying to avoid, like, hard work, because I am, but I would much rather be a rebel, because, like, they actually had, like, a goal. The clones didn't really have, you know, their goal was to end the war. But what did that mean? It didn't mean anything. So the rebels have a certain goal, topple the Empire. And they succeeded. So I would probably much rather be a rebel. Also, the clones, like, had their brains messed with from right when they were born.
Yeah.
So I feel like it probably would be better to be a rebel, because at least you have free will there, if nothing else. Yeah.
Rowan took the words right out of my mouth, because I can just because it's like, it makes sense that something was messed with their brain, especially when Order 66 was made. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna kill these dudes now that like have been my allies for like years. And also just I believe in fighting for the good, and I believe that the rebels, that rebel scum, they're great. You know. Plus, like, I don't know. I feel like the actual adventures would be more fun, because it's like, I understand like living it, it's gonna be like crazy, but like imagine just like hopping from planet to planet to planet, just like trying to take shelter. Like if you're a clone, you're like, all right, go back to base. Just like sit there.
Yeah, for me it's kind of a tough one, but I think in the end I'm gonna have to agree with you two and pick Rebel. But like I feel like the clones have some pretty compelling arguments. Like I would trust myself more to go up against a battle droid than a stormtrooper. I'd rather fight them instead.
Yeah.
And I feel like clones are closer together than the rebels.
It's true.
In terms of like camaraderie and whatnot, in general.
Yeah. Also,
I feel like rebels are sort of the safer option. Plus, I don't start off my life as like a 30-year-old dude.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Also, the clones must have great medical and dental, because like they all look flawless, like all the time.
I mean, 99.
Well, yeah, but he was I will not use the word failure, but he was a failure, from when he was born. He was different because he didn't turn out the right way. But yeah, all the clones except 99, sexy as hell. Anyway, my turn, right? No, my turn.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
No, your turn. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Would you rather try some death sticks or eat a Mon calamari?
Aww. See, I'm very against drugs in general, and assuming that I don't have to kill the Mon calamari and that he's already dead, I would rather eat the Mon calamari. But if I have to kill him myself,
have to kill him, yeah.
If then I'll take the death sticks because I don't want to kill us. I don't want to kill some like random Mon calamari.
Yeah. What about you, Cam?
Yeah.
Tough choice, isn't it?
I'm going to choose death sticks, and then I'm going to ask Obi-Wan if he wants a death stick, and then he's going to pull his, like episode 2 on me, and just like, no. I'm like,
no.
No. I don't remember the exact...
I hope you don't want to sell me death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
Go home and rethink your life. By the way, that guy did go home, rethink his life, went back to selling death sticks, just so you know. Your plan isn't as great as
I just love you telling me, like, no, do I really want...
Yeah, I do. All right. Rowan, your answer?
I would probably do the death sticks, honestly, because, like, unless they actually kill you, in which case I wouldn't. Yeah, Sebastian, look up what death sticks actually do. Because, like,
I am on it, my friend.
I feel like they wouldn't actually kill you. Because if they did, that would just be like a worthless drug. Because, like, you can only buy them once, and then you're dead. So...
Doesn't say anything here.
Really?
About, I'm on Wikipedia. It doesn't say anything here about it killing you.
Okay, good. Then I would probably.
It just says it's a highly addictive illicit substance readily found in the underworld of Coruscant.
I might get a killer hangover, and I might want to take some forever. But at least I won't have eaten a Mon calamari, especially if it's that kid from the Clone Wars, Kit Fisto's Padawan, the one that got killed by General Grievous. Totally forget his name.
Darth Vader?
Yeah, him. Especially if it was. I could just imagine like General Grievous just like cooking him up and like serving him for his rancor or whatever the hell that creature is. Anyway, cool. Yeah,
I believe it was a rancor.
It was a rancor. Yeah.
Cam, your next question.
All right, you got captured by Vader.
Oh shit!
Because you're an ally.
I'm dead.
You're an ally to Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
Vader goes, all right, you either tell me where Luke Skywalker is, and if you don't, you see your planet, bye-bye. Like, so would you rather sacrifice Luke and save your planet, or would you save Luke and sacrifice your planet?
Planet's going bye-bye either way, I feel. Like, no, think about it, alright? They blew up Alderaan anyway, like... So I don't think he would keep his end of the bargain.
So you're just gonna be like...
Especially if there's, like, other Imperial officials there, I don't think the bargain will be kept.
I would, so assuming that logic, I would tell Darth Vader, like, a fake place where Luke was. And then, just like Princess Leia did, because the rebels obviously weren't on Dantooine.
Dantooine, yeah.
They were on, Yavin 4. So I would tell them, like, a fake place where Luke was and see if they blow it up anyway. And if they do, I'll be like, ha! I told you the wrong place, dick, and then he would kill you. But at least you got the last laugh. I guess.
Yeah, but that you just die in addition to getting your planet blown.
Well, yeah, but if you're gonna die, if you're captured by Darth Vader and you're an insignificant rebel, you're gonna get killed. You don't matter. So.
Or you're going back to the interrogator droid.
That's true. I mean, either way, you're gonna die because, like, that thing.
It's not a good.
Exactly.
It's not a good time.
Exactly.
Cam.
I'd give up Luke so fast.
Yes, honestly.
So quickly. I would literally text him. I would literally call him and be like, "Hey Vader, see, here's the coordinates, and then you want to go down this street, take a left here, and this is exactly."
All right, my turn to ask a question.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've been tiptoeing around the somewhat obvious question when it comes to this, but would you rather be a Jedi or a Sith?
Sith, because Sith are allowed to have sex. I'm just kidding. I would probably go with. No, I'm just thinking of this meme where it's the opera house and Anakin's like, "Are Sith allowed to fuck?" And Palpatine's like, "Yes," and Anakin just goes, "I'm in." No, but honestly, I would go with Jedi, because the Jedi are so cool. I mean, Sith, also cool, but, with Jedi, you can be, you can go wherever you want. So Sith, you have to stay secretive, and in the shadows, and I feel like that wouldn't be as interesting as being able to go wherever you want, and just, being able to do, use the Force to, do cool shit, and you could do it out in the open, too, and no one would care. Well, people would care, but wouldn't care as much as if you're a Sith and you're doing it for evil things. So yeah.
True. Yeah.
I'd say a Jedi, because here's the thing about Sith: they're basics. Not a lot of them, but some of the most famous ones are just failed Jedis. Dooku, Vader, Kylo Ren. They're just and so I just imagine just being a Sith and you're just sitting there and just being like, shit. And it's Ben, I'm not Ben, I'm Kylo Ren. It's okay. Okay. No, Jedi. Yeah. They're literally the coolest thing.
Yeah, no, I would have to go with the Jedi too, just because, or the main reason I think would be because there are so many other great Jedi that you could learn from, whereas with the Sith, there's two, and you're one of them, so you really only got one guy that you're either teaching or you're learning from. Whereas if you're a Jedi, you got all these other people that have your back, which I think would be great.
Yeah, it's true.
Unless we're talking post-Republic.
Yeah. I mean, for those 20 years, being a Sith would be like being an Inquisitor is a really sweet deal, unless you would counter Jedi, in which case, I mean, if I was an Inquisitor, I would volunteer for all the jobs on crap planets where no Jedi could ever go. So you could just hang around and do cool stuff with the Force and play with your lightsaber and do whatever you want. And then you could and I mean, if the Empire falls, you could just hide out and pretend to not F the Force. You can just live your life,
All right.
Yeah.
Rowan, your next question.
All right. Would you rather play Chewbacca in Dejarik, which is the holographic chess, or endure a Wookiee Life Day celebration? Now, of course, Life Day is in the holiday special, so I don't think either of you have seen the holiday special, right?
I haven't.
So
I've seen clips and pieces here and there.
Okay, so we're going to have to cover it at some point for the podcast. But basically, aside from all of the VR porn and commercials and Wookiee children and Jefferson Starship and stormtroopers holding their guns the wrong way, the Life Day celebration at the end with sort of Leia, Han, and Luke are there, but they all look weird. And Chewbacca and his family, they're all dressed in red robes, and they hold this glowing light, and then they sort of step onto nothing, and they walk onto the sky, and then there's just this giant glowing light that's like a sun, and they're walking into it, and they're humming and chanting, and then they just and then they just disappear and wake up the next morning. So it's some cult ritual type thing, but we're not allowed to call it a cult because it's a species and it's their religion. So. Yeah, I mean, all cults are religions, but not all religions are cults. So.
All right, I would have to go with Dejarik with my one simple strategy of
let the Wookiee win.
Let the Wookiee win, yeah.
Yeah, fair.
I feel like that would be a lot quicker, a lot less boring.
Yeah, fair. I mean, Chewbacca cheats, though. he totally cheats.
Oh yeah, I don't care. He'll make him win faster. The game will be over. Cam?
I'm celebrating. What is it? Life Day.
Life
Life
Day,
Day.
yeah.
I'm celebrating Life Day because it sounds like a fever dream, and I'm here for it.
Fair.
It would be a good chance to experience new culture, I will admit.
Right. Maybe
I'd
I'll
have to change my
Wookiee.
answer.
Yeah.
Okay, right. You already have the looks, Cam. Rowan, it's your turn.
Honestly, for the same reason as Cam, I would rather celebrate Life Day. Just because, like, if you're an observer, like if you're just there celebrating it with them, like, you're not actually doing it because, like, it's an exclusively Wookiee thing. I feel like it would be so cool just to watch and, like, wonder, like, am I high or is this what's actually happening? I feel like that would just be a really interesting experience to have. You know. All right, Cam, you're up.
All right. Would you rather train with Yoda or Obi-Wan?
Damn it! You fucking sorry. That was literally. It was so similar to my next one. You suck. Anyway, just kidding, Cam. I love you. Okay.
It was very similar to my next one too. Don't worry.
God damn it! Oh my god. All right. I would rather Obi-Wan, hands down, because I feel like Yoda would just give you a bunch of freaking riddles all day, like, drink the milk you must. And then you're like, do you want me to drink or do you want me to like, is it poison? Like, what are you going on about? And then, but like, I feel like Yoda would be a great. Also, whenever I think of Yoda teaching, I always think of the scene in Episode 2 where he's training the Padawans, and then Obi-Wan comes in and he's like, "Oh, I'm looking for this planet," and Yoda's like, "A planet you have lost, And then Obi-Wan's like, "Yeah, that's literally why I came in here." And then Yoda, instead of solving the problem himself, which I'm 100% sure he could, he turns to his students and he's like, "Hey, solve this problem, you will." And all the kids are like, "What the hell, Yoda?" And then the one kid is like, "Because someone erased it from the archive memory." And then Yoda's like, good idea that is. A shame I could not have thought of it. Not as smart as people think I am I? And then it's like, I feel like Yoda is not as intelligent as people think he is. Because he just depends on other people to do things for him. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going off on this. But in Episode 3, when they find the recording of Anakin killing the younglings, Yoda and Obi-Wan are watching this footage, and then like Obi-Wan's like, "Oh no, Anakin, not you!" And then Yoda just keeps watching, and Obi-Wan's like, "I'll send out a distress signal to tell the Jedi not to come back." And Yoda just keeps watching the video. He is no help at all. So yeah, I feel like Obi-Wan is much more practical. And also, Yoda's so old. Obi-Wan's young. He can like do hip stuff. He can like get you a beer without being like carded for being a kid in disguise or something. Anyway.
Okay, I would have to go with Obi-Wan. I like Obi-Wan's personality better, so I think I could learn from him a little bit better. Then he's also a human, and so I assume our fighting... I know every Jedi has a different fighting style, but there's no way I could ever recreate that jumping and spinning that Yoda called fighting. Like, if he's... Like, he can't teach you that, and he probably can't teach you how to fight like a human being as well as Obi-Wan could.
Yeah.
And so I'd rather go with Obi-Wan. Plus, I would love to just listen to the Obi-Wan liners in every single possible situation.
Yeah. God, I spent like 6 minutes on that. Anyway, continue, Cam. Sorry.
Imagine you're trained by Yoda, and he just goes, "Here's my lightsaber." I'm like, dude, this thing's a whopping inch long. Like, how is this gonna do? But then I could just like picture like a classroom with like Obi-Wan, and everyone he goes, "Why, hello there!" And then there's like, it's every morning you can count on Obi-Wan saying that. It's like, "Oh, Master Obi-Wan," and like he's like, "Yeah." Dude, we need to make Star Wars the school. I pick Obi-Wan.
Why? I wonder if anyone because everyone's lightsaber is bigger than Yoda's. I wonder if anyone ever comes up to Yoda. It's like, hey man, you wanna measure up? You wanna measure lightsabers? And Yoda's like, find this amusing. I do not.
Size matters not, you know.
All right,
all right,
Sebastian.
My next one is would you rather fight in a Rancor pit or be stuck hanging from the ceiling in the Wampa cave?
Are you fighting a Rancor in the Rancor pit, or are you
Of course, you're fighting a Rancor.
Okay, all right. Because you just said fighting. You just said fighting in a Rancor pit.
Yeah, so you're
and
fighting.
you didn't specify.
I assume the Rancor pit has a Rancor.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, I mean, Luke killed Jabba's, so it might have. There's no Rancor in there anymore. Okay, so, oh man, that is a difficult one. And it's just you're hanging in the Wampa cave, right?
Mm. You're hanging from the ceiling in the Wampa pit.
If you don't have the Force, you're pretty much useless in the Wampa cave situation. At least with the Rancor, your feet are on the ground, and the Rancor's big. So you could probably dodge it enough so that you could figure something out like Luke did. So I would go for Rancor.
Yeah. Let's go with the Rancor pit because I don't do well being upside down. Because on roller coasters, I'm like, whoa, mad vertigo. And imagine just being stuck upside down. I'm like, okay. What can I do here? I mean, I could have the Force, but also then I wouldn't know what to do. I'd just be like, that's my kryptonite. It's just I have all the powers where I'm like, wow, I'm upside down. I can't do anything. Yeah, and also, fighting a Rancor just sounds cooler.
Yeah, it does. It's like extracting something from its rectum. Anyway, continue.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like my odds of fighting either of them are slim to none. Or winning the fight, I suppose.
Yeah.
My odds of winning the fight are slim to none for either of them. But in the Wampa cave, despite being stuck upside down, I feel like your odds of escaping are a bit better. Because if you're in the Rancor pit, just think about it. The way you came in is all the way up there, and the way out is guarded by a bunch of Jabba thugs, and so. Although then again, if you escape the Wampa cave, then you're just stuck in the snow. There's nowhere really to go. So actually, I might have to agree with you guys upon saying all this out loud with the Rancor pit.
Yeah. At least you have a fighting chance. With the Wampa, you're pretty much defenseless because your feet are frozen to the ceiling. So, yeah. Anyway, shall we move on?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, would you rather milk a thalasiren? Now, the thalasiren is the creature in The Last Jedi that Luke milks and then drinks its green milk. So would you rather milk a thalasiren and then drink its milk? Or listen to Chancellor Valorum preach to the Senate about trade disputes for hours on end?
Milk. I'm I'm a big milk guy, but I hate anything that's not... I hate almond milk and that, so I can't assume I'm going to like this type of milk either. But on the bright side, that'll be over soon. But this milk is good enough that Luke seems to enjoy it quite a bit, and so I trust him to have decent taste.
Well, Luke kind of went crazy. Let's be real here.
Kind of did.
Literally, the opening scene in Last Jedi, he's like, "Oh, my lightsaber." Oh,
yeah.
But green milk.
I would agree with you guys. It's Senate sound. Well, I mean, if I was in the Senate listening, I would just look at the different species and see oh, there's the ETs down there, and I I would just spend the whole time just looking at the different creatures. But aside from that, yeah, no, it would just be all. It would just be all bore and no payoff. So I would go with the mill because at least you get something out of it.
I somehow knew you were going to say the ETs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from our Phantom Menace episode that I chose to point them out specifically. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Cam, in case you didn't know, you can see ET's species in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, there's like 10 of them in
the Senate scene.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cam, your next question.
All right. Would you rather be left alone with C-3PO or Jar Jar Binks for 24 hours?
C-3PO.
C-3PO, hands down. If it was Jar Jar Binks, again, I bring back to question 2. I would eat him. Yeah.
There's no survival benefit this time.
It's just I'm gonna murder him, and I might as well eat him afterwards. He is a fish. Okay.
C-3PO's anxiety is so contagious.
You can shut him off, right?
I mean, yeah, but that's cheating. You can shut off Jar Jar Binks too, my God.
That's what he said he'd do.
I know, but it's C-3PO because I feel like it would be so cool to be around someone that was built by Anakin.
Yeah.
Even though wasn't his memory wiped though?
Yeah.
Like twice.
His memory was wiped after episode
3.
Yeah. And then it got wiped again. Was it Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker, but then he got it back, so
yeah,
it was a retcon and was stupid, but yeah, didn't count at all.
Yeah. All right, my turn.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Would you rather be a very successful pod racer with one of the best pods, or an ace pilot with one of the fastest ships in the galaxy?
Probably a pilot, because pod racing I would be way too scared to go pod racing. It's so freaking dangerous. So I would definitely go with a ship, because pod racing you can only use at pod races. A ship you can use at any time, right? Because it's a ship, you can live in there, right? But also, I'm sure it's super expensive to maintain. So, like I don't know how Han Solo survived, because I'm sure a ship like the Falcon takes a lot of gas. So anyway, yeah, so I would go with the ship, because it just seems much more useful in the long run.
Cam?
I say a pod, and I'd name it the Tide Pod, and then and then hear me out. I'm gonna be the best racer, and every weekend we'd have the Tide Pod challenge, where you challenge the Tide Pod to a race.
For when you first said that, I thought you said the Time Pod, and I was like, "What? Does that have relevance or something?" And then I realized, oh, it's a Tide Pod show.
I would have to agree with Rowan on the ship, just because with the ship you can explore all sorts of cool worlds, and you granted, it would be just, you wouldn't be able to do much because it's not like you'd be living there, but if you lived on your ship, you would basically have a home that you could take to any freaking world. Although I assume that if you're living on your ship, it's not going to be one of the fastest. But, whatever.
Well, I mean, they live on the Millennium Falcon, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. But, I don't know, I feel like there's faster out there.
Where did they sleep in the Millennium Falcon? Are there
probably
beds
some kind of
somewhere?
On Chewie.
Did Han and Leia sleep together in episode 4? 6, 5. Probably. They probably did. Anyway, my turn.
Rowan's asking the important question. Speaking of Rowan asking questions,
that's what this podcast is for. Okay. Would you rather... I have 2 more. Would you rather be an Imperial Red Guard or a Knight of Ren? The Red Guards were the guys that were guarding Palpatine. They're like the British guards in that they don't do anything or say anything, and they're utterly useless. They're cool in the expanded universe, they have all sorts of cool weapons. Mm-hmm. But the Knights of Ren are cooler looking, but they're equally as useless. So, which one would you rather be?
I would have to go with the Imperial Guard, just because I I like Palpatine more than Kylo Ren, and I know I feel like working under Kylo Ren would be such a terrible. Not that working under Palpatine would be much better, but working under Kylo Ren would be terrible. Plus, the Imperial Guards kind of have it sort of made as far as Imperial military.
That's true. They're the top tier.
Exactly. I mean, I assume that the two guys that Yoda just knocks back in seconds got executed, but
yeah.
I figure the rest of them probably have they just sort of stand there around the Emperor, because I feel like not many people make too many attempts directly on the Emperor's life where you would need a Imperial Guard.
They're just there to look cool.
Plus, the Emperor can handle himself. You don't really need to be there.
True.
Cam?
Imperial Guard. Here's the thing. It's mostly because I don't like Kylo. I feel like the way they had him developed in Rise of Skywalker was cool. Where he was like a martyr. However, I would have, this is a totally different conversation, I wouldn't have just had one. Just have him be the person, but I can't imagine just working under Kylo. Also, he's just having conversations with himself. I'm like, who are you talking to? Oh, I'm talking to Rey.
Yeah, and they're serving under him, and then they get killed by him later on. So it's what the hell were we even doing? Just throughout the last 10 years.
They switched teams pretty fast. I'm not gonna lie,
bro. At least I'm gonna make a sports reference. I don't know why.
You're talking to Star Wars nerds, and you're gonna make a sports reference. Know your audience, Cam.
Yeah.
All right, Rowan, your answer?
I would rather be an Imperial Guard because they look really cool. Knights of Ren, the only thing they really have going for them are their helmets. But if they're equally useless, I would just go with the Guard because they don't have to do anything, but they at least they probably get paid to do nothing. I'm sure the Knights of Ren is like a forced kidnap when you're younger, raised to be cold-blooded killer type of thing, where
an Inquisitor.
Exactly,
sort of.
where it's not your job. But I feel like the Imperial Guards, they get they did something to get into Palpatine's good graces, so they are fairly well compensated for their work. Because the Empire had a whole economy, and it was super cool. But anyway, so yeah, Imperial Guard all the way.
Cam, your next question.
Yeah, about that. I ran out.
Dude.
Okay. I think I only have one more here. And it's not, like I said, some of mine aren't particularly great. Would you rather work for Jabba the Hutt or Palpatine?
My next one is so similar. How did this happen? What the hell? Oh, man. I would rather work for Palpatine. Because, either one you work with, you're screwed because they both collapse eventually. But Palpatine survives for another 30 years. So, if you started your career in your 20s at the Rise of the Empire, and then stuck with Palpatine all the way through the Rise of Skywalker, you've lived a really long and full life, and you got a great job the whole way. So.
And I feel like if you were to work for him during the Empire, they didn't know that he was still alive until the very end there. So I feel like that wouldn't really affect it much in the second 30 years, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, as long as you can avoid persecution for being a part of the Empire, then you're made in the shade. So I would go with Palpatine, hands down. His job is freaking disgusting. Oh, Jesus. Anyway.
Cam?
I picked
Jabba.
Because here's the thing. As much as they both collapse, if I wanted to quit my job and give him my 2 weeks notice, I'm like, oh hey Palpatine, can I get I'm going to work elsewhere. Dude, I'd be killed on the spot. But people have been able to escape Jabba's wrath. So yes, will you have bounty hunters on you? Of course. but it's better than dealing with Emperor Palpatine.
The literal whole Imperial army on your end.
Right. And I feel like also there's just more adventures with Jabba than with Palpatine.
Yeah. I would have to go with Jabba as well, just because if you're working for Jabba, I assume you're a bounty hunter. And I would rather do that than work, like, I don't know, some kind of Imperial officer. Because, like, let's say when Jabba's thing collapses, I doubt they went and took down the individual bounty hunters. Whereas I'm sure that every person in, like, Palpatine's high command got, like, tried for war crimes on at least, like, 12 different, accusations. So I would have to go with Jabba. Plus, being a bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe is kind of like the coolest thing you can do.
Wow.
Rowan, I believe you have the final question of the night.
I do have the final the night. Yes, I do have the final question of the night. Would you rather? So this one's relatively similar to that one. Just know that we produced these separately. We did not talk to each other while we were making this. Would you rather...
Yeah, everybody came up with their own list of questions.
Yeah. Would you rather work on the Death Star, specifically the Death Star under Darth Vader, like be one of those guys who was in the meeting where he was choking these guys out, or dance in a skimpy bikini for Jabba the Hutt? Basically, like, be his slave.
Oh, easy. Dance in a skimpy bikini.
I'm dancing. I don't want to get blown up. It like, I can't assume many of those guys escaped.
Well, I mean, it's getting blown up or being fed to the Rancor. So.
Oh shit, you're right. I mean, if I dance well enough, I don't have to get fed to the Rancor.
Do you think you could dance well enough, Sebastian?
Not a chance.
So just do your little leg sway. Just the.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I'd be a dancer. Only because it's like, I'm not really providing anything cool for society, but at least I'm not building the Death Star.
Actually,
Like, because it's not one of those things where it's like, hey guys, I just built that thing up there. Oh, what's that? Boom! Like,
actually, I'm going to change my answer because I feel like the odds of me getting shipped off the Death Star before it explodes are higher than the odds of me dancing well enough to save my skin.
That's true. I would agree with you because I feel like with Jabba, it's a game of chance and skill, depending on his mood, depending on a whole bunch of factors. But with the Death Star, it's cold, hard facts. And if you were on the Death Star, I mean, like, it's basically a walking bomb. So, not walking, obviously, floating. But if I was, like, if I knew, like, about the Death Star, I would, like, get the hell out as soon as I could. Like I would want to be on solid ground because I feel like the Death Star is not strong enough. Because, like, if I knew the Death Star, like, if I was one of the dudes in Darth Vader's room, I feel like I know the Death Star enough that I wouldn't want to be on it as little as, like, I would want to be on it as little as possible. I feel like people like Tarkin, they had to be there because it was, like, they were in command.
Yeah.
But if I was just below that, I would go somewhere else.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, so
that's a good point.
That was...
So this...
Would you rather?
This was our Star Wars themed Would You Rather.
Yeah. And depending on how good this is, we may do one of these again with some new questions. We will see. Who knows? We have no idea. We don't know anything. Everything is up in the air. Yeah. Yeah, but, this episode was over an hour, so I think that was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. Surprising, right?
Gift the gab, I told you so.
All right, well, we want to thank our special guest, Cam Bozora, for joining us today. We will assuredly have you back at some point.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll be back.
You'll be back.
And, and of course, thank you all for listening to our dumbass voices.
Oh, of course. Always. So, for Across the Stars, my name is Rowan Wood.
I'm Sebastian Rickoff, and this is
Cam Bozora.
And we will be back next week, whenever you're listening to this.